While the big backpacking gear normally gets all the love and accolades, I wanted to turn my attention on the small items I carry that have made a big difference in my backpacking experience. Today, it's time to celebrate the small tech, gadgets, and tools that upgrade my trips.
So my very first item that I wanted to talk about is my watch. Now, this is the COROS VERTIX 2 watch, and this is the first smartwatch that I've ever gone backpacking with. I am not a technical guru guy that just loves gadgets and stuff like that. So I've been hesitant to even bring smart fancy watches that cost, more than $120 or something like that with me on a backpacking trip. Usually it's just give me a compass and tell me the time and maybe be able to set an alarm and I'm good. So this is new for me. I've actually been using this for about 8 months now and I'm still learning it. So pros and cons, it is a little bit complicated to get the full features out of this watch. But just from a baseline standpoint, you can pretty much get some amazing stuff with it just without really having any sort of technical expertise. Some of my favorite things right off the bat are just going to be the ability to measure the temperature. Actually, one of my favorite features is just setting it out at night so I can actually see how cold it has been. And so I like to see that, most of the night it was about 36 degrees. So that's something I really like. Of course, there's tracking functions, there's map functions, there's a lot of great features. Another feature that's pretty cool is I could ping this location, go for a hike, and if I was navigating at night or something like that back to camp and was getting lost, I could just follow the pings back to the spot that I had saved, the location that I'd saved. So there's so many cool features about it. It is an expensive watch. I believe it's $699, so it's pricey. But it is a super cool watch that, honestly, if you're into that sort of thing for backpacking gadgets, I really think that it's one of the best ones on the market, and I think it performs as well, if not maybe sometimes better than the Garmin watches and some of the other watches that are out there that are like this. There's so many features that I really like. It tells me when sunset is, it'll tell me when sunrise is. Elevation, my heart rate, I could get all sorts of sleep data, training data. This watch is meant for athletes who are in training or for people who are doing big treks. So it's not necessarily for everybody, but I do really like it. And best of all, it's got 60 days of battery power in it. So it's not one of those watches where you can go for like 3 or 4 days and then you have to replug it in. I forget about plugging this in for months at a time, so I really am a fan of that. Item number 2 is my headlamp. This is the Neo 1R from LED Lenser. This was made with runners in mind, ultra runners. It is a 39-gram headlamp that clocks in with 250 lumens. I really am a big fan of this. It's got multiple power modes. It's got multiple modes of how strong this is going to be. And of course, you always need that red light feature that is great for keeping your night vision and not bothering other people and keeping the bugs at bay. This is a $45 headlamp, so I really like where it sits in the market. And the best thing of all is that it's stinking light. It's got 4 hours of runtime, which sounds like nothing, but that will actually get you through most backpacking trips that are 3 or 4 days long before you're gonna run out of battery. Runtime can be deceptive. 4 hours does not mean after 4 hours it's dead. It just gives you 4 hours at its full output before you start to see some diminishing returns on that power. So you could actually use this for a lot longer than 4 hours of use, especially if you are using it mostly on this lower light setting. And it will give you plenty of time with 250 lumens full brightness, which is great if you're just being around camp and sometimes maybe even needing to navigate. It is not going to be as powerful as I like for extreme navigation in the nighttime. I'd like having that beam that just broadcasts way out into the night, but then you're going to need a bulkier headlamp, probably need a battery pack on there. One quick note on this is it is rechargeable batteries, so you don't need to do AA's, AAA's, anything like that. However, the only downside is that it uses these kind of connection points. So you need to use lead lenser's charging cable, which can be annoying because sometimes you just want to use that USB-C or micro USB that you probably have 13 of lying around. But I will say that these magnetic ports are slick, and I do like using them. You just have to use their system. So that's the only feature that I'd give them a knock on. But otherwise, this is so comfortable. I love that you can have this thing on. You can literally run, and it doesn't move, bob, or any of that. So it's a great headlamp, especially 39 grams. This weighs practically nothing. This is my go-to right now. So this is the Neo 1R from Lead Lenser. Check them out. It's always good to have a good pocket knife, a utility knife, and this one has been my favorite one that I think that I've ever come across. This is the VOSTEED Nightshade, and I just really like this super slick shape that it's got going on. And it's just like the perfect size, perfect length. Maybe could be a little bit on the heavy end, but it is a 154 centimeter blade. I love that nice curve, so much space to actually be cutting things, cutting vegetables or cooking, using it as a culinary knife, using it as strictly just whittling or slicing up paracord or things like that you always need to be doing in the backcountry. I've been using it a little bit as a screwdriver on the backside for tightening up camera equipment. It's got a pretty nice locking mechanism in here. I asked Dan about this. Dan's a big knife guy. He knows all of the verbiage, vocabulary, and I just started my eyes rolling back in my head hearing him, because I am clearly not the knife guy. But he gave it his approval. He thought that this was a pretty dang stinking cool knife. And I'm not sure the price on this. I'm going to have to check, so it'll pop up over here what the actual price is. But it is a really stinking fun one, and it's always good to have a knife that you trust in the backcountry. The next piece of gear is new for me, but it is my Grand Trunk Designs Grand Trunk swivel stool. Now, the guys that I've been backpacking with, Dan and Emmett, have been making fun of me a lot for this stool, but I stand by it. I really, really like it. It is a 1 pound, $60 stool. So they all have their luxury chairs, their ultralight chairs that have their high back that are honestly pretty nice, and I love the high back feature, but they're more than double the price. So at 60 bucks, having just something to get you off the ground. And my favorite thing by far is obviously that it swivels 360 degrees. I've been doing this constantly. The guys are rolling their eyes in their head, but I can't stop doing it. And it's honestly not even a gimmick. Sometimes I'm just cooking over here and then I want to get something from over here or look at the view over here, and being able to just swivel around is really, really cool. So one thing I have noticed is that if you are on the heavier side of things, it might struggle a little bit. It seems like probably it's best suited for people under 200 pounds. If you're over 200 pounds, it might struggle. It might not hold up over time. I'm not sure. But yeah, for 60 bucks, 1 pound, great backpacking stool. I'm a fan. Hey, I'm in a new location, but I wanted to continue the video because I think there are some important other things that I didn't get to cover while shooting in Idaho. One more piece of tech that's really important to me is my Zoleo satellite communicator. Now, a lot of people ask me what the difference is between the Garmin, the Zoleo, the Spot. They're all relatively similar, but I just like the price point that this one comes in at. It's a little bit cheaper to buy the actual unit, and then the subscription service is also a little bit cheaper. The Zoleo pairs with my phone really easily. It's really clean. It's just like sending texts. But my favorite thing is the ability to check the weather. So as you can see, we've got some weather coming in, and it just comes from the nearest reporting station. And I use this all the stinking time, and I love it because sometimes weather reporting is so finicky, but this is actually proved to be a really accurate system, no matter where I am backpacking. So that is a win for me. You have two ways of calling for SOS. You can hold that down on your phone. And of course, you've got the SOS function right there, which is really easy, and it always closes so you don't accidentally hit that. If you are in some serious trouble, you're by yourself or you're out in really remote terrain and you just can't send a message out. Hopefully I never have to use it as an emergency communicator, as mounting a rescue, but it's there if I need it, and it gives me and my loved ones peace of mind, which is super nice. Now, the downside is that this doesn't really have any map functions. It doesn't really do any of the navigation type things for you. It is simply a communicator and a weather checker. So it is a little bit more of a simple device than the InReach is, but you know, all things considered, this is one of my favorite upgrades that I've started using in the last 2 years, I'd say, on my backpacking trips. And one more piece of tech that I want to talk about is my pale blue AA and AAA rechargeable batteries. So they come in these 4-packs. They're really cool. They recharge. This is with a micro USB, although the new ones have a USB-C charger connection point on them. But they are a great way to reuse batteries. We throw away millions of batteries every day across the planet. I'm not affiliated with Pale Blue. I just wanted to showcase them because I like them. I actually use these in my microphones. I use them in the batteries that illuminate this copper spur because it's the Mountain Glow. It has those cool fancy lights to them. And a lot of my electronics around the house, I also use these. I've been using these for the last 6 months and I've had a lot of success with them. So I'm a fan of rechargeable batteries so that we don't have to throw away batteries all the stinking time. By the way, I just got this new wide angle lens and I'm really digging it. This is how they connect. They're just really simple. They've got that micro USB connection point there. You can connect 4 at a time with their fancy dangle system. Allows you to just connect them like that. Okay, my friends, those are my favorite items that are small, little items that go a long way, make a big difference on my backpacking trip. Hope they make a difference for you. Leave some comments below if you liked what I'm talking about here, if you have any questions, thoughts, or questions about something in the future that you want to hear about. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Eric Hansen with Backpacking TV. I'm gonna go climb that mountain behind me. See you later, everybody.